YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. Almost time for the 2019 NFL season, and I got my final predictions. This video is covering each NFC division and my final placing predictions. We did the same video for the AFC. After this video, we'll predict playoffs and the Super Bowl all in one video. I'm actually recording this moments after Jadeveon Clowney was traded to the Seattle Seahawks. None of my predictions have changed for this video. With that trade happening. So we're going to break down each division. We'll have full coverage in season for the NFL. Can't wait for that. Hopefully you can join us. We do have some exclusive content available. You can join our Discord private chat for NFL discussions. Plenty of you in there already. We got plenty of good discussions going on and more to come during the season, during live games. You can join our NFL Pick'ems League. Almost too late for that, but not too late right now. You can join it. Bonus videos, plenty more to come on there, and you can gain plenty more access to bonus material. Just go to that link at the top, patreon.com/thegoathouse. There's also a link towards the top of the description to find out more info on how you can gain access to all that. Subscriber goal is at 40K by the end of this year. Please help us out by subscribing. Full coverage of the NFL, like I said. It'll be worth it to subscribe. Click on that like button, turn notifications on, and then check out our Twitter. Appreciate any of that. Let's get through this here. NFC East predictions coming in at 4th place in the division. The Giants. No surprise there. I got the Giants, no matter the quarterback starting. I like the future of the Giants. I think they had a pretty solid draft, even though the Daniel Jones one was questionable. He looks pretty solid in preseason. I'm not going to doubt his future, but they drafted pretty well at the corner position. I think they have a very solid defensive line. They still need work. They still need some help, fill some holes, and develop these young players. Saquon Barkley could be the best back in football, but it's really not enough in today's NFL, a passing league. But Barkley will be pretty damn dominant. 3rd, I went with the Redskins. Redskins are all over the place to me. I think they're a really good pass rush, a really good defensive line. Then some holes elsewhere in the defense here and there, some bright spots that I like. But I really like the pass rush. Offensively, I don't think they're going to score a whole bunch of points. I like Keenum. I mean, he led the Vikings to the NFC Championship game when a year ago the Vikings couldn't even make the playoffs. But at the same time, he doesn't really have the weapons that they had in Minnesota. So I'm kind of back and forth on him. I like the potential of Haskins. We'll see if he plays this year. And then no Trent Williams. Sounds like he's going to continue to hold out. No trade as of recording this video for Trent Williams. There has been a Clowney trade, though. So you never know what's going to happen the next day or so. Next 5 minutes, actually. Redskins, so they come in at number 3. And then 2-1. Cowboys get 2nd. Eagles get 1st to me. I think the Eagles are the better team right now. Bearing injuries, I still have some concerns about their health, but they'll do enough to win this division. They have talent. I still think the defense has some holes. People are a little higher on the defense than I am, but the defense will be good enough, I guess I should say. Offense will be very solid throughout this year as long as they stay healthy. Looking at Wentz and the offensive line, when I say stay healthy, I guess receivers too. Deshaun Jackson could miss a little time. Some people think not, but I do like the receiver unit. It got better. They win this division. The Cowboys, a playoff candidate here. And no Zeke right now, so that could be a reason there too. They're also an inconsistent team. It seems like every other year or during the season, Cowboys fans should know best. First half of the year last year, people complaining, fire Garrett. The Amari Cooper trade was a fail. Then all of a sudden that flipped in the second half of the season. So which Cowboys team are we going to get? Can they stay consistent? I think a very balanced and complete team. That's what I like about this team. I like some young pieces pretty much everywhere. I really like the linebacker unit. I think the pass rush could get a little better. Depends on if Taco Charlton steps up. Obviously, DeMarcus Lawrence should be pretty dominant. But those are my reasonings for those teams in those spots for the NFC East. We'll see who makes the playoffs eventually. NFC North is next here, and I have doubts, and I'm back and forth on 3 of these teams in the NFC North. Very good division. Those 3 teams are placed 1, 2, and 3. So we'll reveal number 4 here. It's the Lions. I think the Lions are a pretty darn good team. It's a very tough division. I think they're a complete team. I think Stafford could step up this year, but how much? I still have some concerns for him. He played pretty poorly last year. No more excuses, though, for him. They have a lot of weapons. Kerryon Johnson, a very good receiver duo, a very good tight end, even as a rookie, and a tight end duo, really. So no more excuses. Defense, they built up. Patricia really got that defense going. So, I mean, this team could realistically win this division. I got them 4. I think the other 3 teams slightly have more, I guess, elite power, playmaking power, and that's the difference. But I think all 4 of these teams will finish somewhat close in record. And I did go game by game and, to determine this. I didn't just pull this out of anywhere. And you can gain access to seeing every team's record prediction through that Patreon link or through YouTube memberships, which is in the description as well. Number 3, I got the Packers. A lot of question marks with the Packers. Like I said, I'm back and forth. They got talent. They got Aaron Rodgers. He's out to prove something because last year the blame was kind of on McCarthy. Some people blame Rodgers. He didn't play that great of a season last year. He may have been hurt, though. I think he was hurt at times. So he's got something to prove. He can come out and play very well. I just don't know about if this team's ready to click yet. I'm really everywhere. LaFleur coming in, him and Rodgers, they ready to click. They'll be good, but how will the play calling be? LaFleur's play calling wasn't so hot in Tennessee. And the defense is very balanced now. They did a good job revamping it, not really rebuilding it. It was kind of already rebuilt, but kind of just retooling it. And then, there's so many new pieces, though, and how will they click right away? It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough to do that. 2 new safeties starting. Young corners, but no new young corners starting. Young corners that I like, but could have their moments here and there. In terms of the linebackers, 2 new pass rushers at the outside linebacker spot starting, and then you have Rashawn Gary's a new face as a backup. There's going to be a new starting middle linebacker next to Blake Martinez, and the defensive line is going to look pretty much completely different besides Kenny Clark in terms of starters. So a lot of new faces here for Green Bay. How will they click? How will the chemistry be? And, a reason for struggling last year at times was the lack of weapons for Aaron Rodgers. Well, there's really not a whole bunch of new weapons. I think some of these guys can stay up. Aaron Jones, that's another guy. If he stays healthy, he's definitely a weapon. So, and Devontae Adams being one of the better receivers in football. So back and forth, as you can see, back and forth on the Packers. They have the bright spots where they can be darn good. It really depends on if they stay healthy and the team clicks. The new faces click right away. Then they could be good. They're definitely a playoff candidate still, even being 3rd spot, because it's a very good division. And then 1 and 2, I got the Vikings at 1 and the Bears at 2, very close. When I went game by game, I actually had the Bears beating the Vikings both times they played them. So the Bears go 2-0 against the Vikings, but the Vikings get the 1 spot by 1 game, 1 more win. And I do have doubts about both these teams. At the same time, I know they're very good teams. The Vikings were supposed to be in this spot last year. They're actually supposed to win the Super Bowl, according to a lot of people. Maybe they can get back to that. 2nd year for Kirk Cousins, a much better play caller, and now they bring Kubiak, who has experience winning Super Bowls, in there. And the offensive line gets better, but I still worry about the offensive line. How much it did get better, how much better did it get? That's the question. I still worry about it, though. But to think they were 1 game away from the playoffs with the disaster of a season they had with the injuries, the play calling, and the offensive line, and all those things should be better. You expect them to be better, so that should be enough to get into the playoffs. The Bears at 2, it's really on Trubisky. I didn't like his season last year. I'm not doubting that he can improve, but I don't know if he'll improve that much this year. He needs to improve, or they'll go south. If he stays the same, he gets worse because teams can game plan on him. Teams figure him out. No quarterbacks that age all of a sudden get worse. It looks like that, but it's not really true. They don't just wake up one day and they're worse. That's not how it works. But I like Trubisky's potential. Love this defense. It's still a very good team, even though there's a different coach in there. So they definitely will compete to win this division. They could win it. Any team in here can win it, and they're definitely a playoff candidate here. The end of the day, why the Vikings are at 1, I'm kind of back and forth on their offense. They just have too much talent. It's pathetic if they don't get in the playoffs. They should win this division because of the talent they have. So there's expectations from me for the Vikings still. Expectations is what it is. If they don't reach those, it's a huge disappointment. They have elite talent on this team in many spots, so there's no reason why they shouldn't be here, and that's at the end of the day when I decided they can win as many games as I had them winning. But like I said, I had the Bears beating them twice. Terrible matchup in that game for the Vikings, but the Vikings still just edge them out. NFC South, let's go over that right now. The Buccaneers at 4, like the coaching hires, but they're in a decision-making situation here. Will this be a rebuild team? It's kind of half in, half out. I think they'll decide on the offensive side if it will be fully at the end of the year with Jameis Winston. They will score some points. They'll get some yards, just not enough on offense. The receiver unit took a hit. Really no solid running back. Offense line's inconsistent. Defense, there's some players I really, really like the 2 inside linebackers, Devin White and Levante David. Other than that, not a whole bunch of pass rush. Secondary is heading in the right direction. Great draft. I can't wait to see Bunting play. I was a big fan of him, but they will give up some yards. It's a young, weaker secondary at the moment. They'll give up some yards. Number 3 is the Panthers, a very rangy team, a team that can win very little games or win a lot because they have elite talent. Cam Newton, Christian McCaffrey, Luke Kuechly, and then there's more guys that can definitely play. Wouldn't call them elite talent, but they can play. They're up there. But they do have some holes. Their defense will give up some yards to the air. Pass rush could be better. But really why they're third is I hate to doubt somebody for injury reasons, but I'm a little concerned for Cam Newton. They're an elite team when he's 100% healthy, and then obviously he's hurt and he couldn't play the best of his abilities, and the team just goes on a huge losing streak. I'm worried about the offensive line, worried about Cam Newton staying healthy at the moment, but if they stay healthy, it's a darn good team. It's just unfortunate situation here. And then 1 and 2, I got the Saints 1, Falcons 2. Falcons a playoff candidate here. Offense, very exciting, except I do worry about the offensive line a bit. It was kind of on the bad side last year, surprisingly, and then it's very young now, kind of in the rebuild process, so it may take some time for it to go back north, go back in the right direction. So that's what I'm concerned about. But Matt Ryan, very good under pressure. I still think he's in his prime. I think he can play at his MVP season this year, so that's the beauty of the Falcons. And then the defense was beat up last year. It's healthy right now, so it should be better. The Saints are 1 because I think they're one of the more complete teams in football. Yeah, they can use better players here and there, but they don't have any holes. This offense will be good. The defense will be good enough. Defense can give up some yards, though. It's just Drew Brees. Hard to doubt Drew Brees, even if he won't get better, but I expect him around the same, and that's good enough. Well-coached team. I don't see why they should. They should win this division. I don't see why not. The NFC West, 4th place, will be the Cardinals. I was kind of getting on the Cardinals hype train not that long ago because this offense could be hard to game plan against. It could be a high-powered offense. All that could be true, but I think it will kind of go down over time when teams start to figure them out. At the same time, they don't really have anybody elite on the offense. I don't consider Larry Fitzgerald elite anymore. I don't really consider David Johnson elites. It could be a fun offense. The offensive line's pretty rough, though, so that could be a problem. The defense, it's not ready. It's not there yet. They're going to give up a lot of yards on the ground, and then with Patrick Peterson out, I think they'll give up quite a bit through the air. So this team is not quite ready, heading in the right direction. And then at the 3 spot, I got the Niners. I always worry about this team's health. It's already starting with the injuries. Nothing crazy that's super impactful, but and I do worry about the health, but I've kind of cooled down on that a little bit because they do have pretty darn good depth, I've noticed. They've drafted pretty well for their depth that fits their team, so that is a good thing. They got a good backup quarterback. They got good backup pretty much everywhere, I think. Maybe offensive line could get a little better, but I think they're a balanced team. I don't think there's anything elite about this team unless D Ford, and I'd say the pass rush can be elite, very easily can be elite. Linebacker group's good. I wouldn't call it elite, so I want to see them stay healthy. I want to see Garoppolo show me he can play. I know he can play, but I don't know if he can stay consistent. I want to see him stay consistent and take that next step where this team can be better than this. It could be a pretty darn good team. It's just health and quarterback play. They need to show me it. They need to show me it. And then 1 and 2, about to surprise people here, and let me make a few things clear. Like I said in the beginning of the video, the Clowney trade did not change this. I had these graphics and these predictions were made before me recording this. I had the Seahawks number 1, and like I made a post earlier this week about my predictions coming up, and I said, and that's still up there, to prove it. But I said there's a team that I completely changed my opinion on, and that was the Seattle Seahawks. So I changed my opinion on the Seattle Seahawks maybe a couple weeks ago here. So I have them winning division. Some of it kind of goes into the Rams too. I actually had these 2 teams tying in record, so the Seahawks got the edge, the tiebreaker. But the Rams, I'm worried about their offensive line too. I'm worried about it. No more Saffold, no more Sullivan. Whitworth's not going to get any better. He's the strong part of that offensive line. A lot of young guys that could struggle. It started to struggle down the stretch, which led to Goff getting pressured, in which he did not play good getting pressured. That's what I worry about. Still a playoff candidate because we're well coached. They have elite talent here and there. For Seattle, why I changed my opinion. The reason I was kind of lower on them than everyone else is because they were heading in the wrong direction during off seasons. They were heading in the wrong direction, getting rid of key players. Now they got Clowney. That makes them better. But again, that didn't affect this. And I still think I'm right. They're heading in the wrong direction. They're getting rid of key players, Frank Clark and guys in the secondary over the years. But I think I let that, tell me how they were as a team, and that's where I was wrong. You look at this team, it's still a good team. It's still a very balanced team. They're a team too. They got really good chemistry. They work really well in different position groups. They can stop the run. Jaron Reed being out 6 games is tough. They may start off a little slow because of that. I love his game. Bobby Wagner. They have elite players in Russell Wilson, Bobby Wagner. Then they got the next tier guys close to elite, or maybe somewhat close to elite, and Tyler Lockett, or maybe on the way, I should say, not really that close to elite, but Tyler Lockett, Chris Carson, players like that, and Jaron Reed. And they have Ziggy Ansah. Now they have Jadeveon Clowney. So now let's throw Jadeveon Clowney in the mix. He's borderline elite. He's a very good player with a whole bunch of upside. They stole him from the Texans. But again, them getting Clowney, I already had him number 1. I did. The secondary unit, no huge bright spot, but as a unit, they work very well together. The offensive line got much better last year with their new coach, and another year they can get better. But the main reason Russell Wilson gets this team to the playoffs, he gets wins. I think they're good enough to win this division. That is the reason for my change. So basically, I still agree with my point that they're going in the wrong direction. Maybe that changed a little bit with the Clowney thing, but during off seasons and what they have been doing over the last couple off seasons, I agree with myself, I guess, on that. But what I disagree on myself with is that I let that affect my view on their season. That's where I was wrong. This might bite me in the ass, me changing my mind on them, but I feel pretty strongly about it. It's a bold take to win the division, but I think they're a playoff team. They can finish first or second. The Rams are a very good team. They're a playoff candidate. Just worry about the offensive line a little bit. Maybe not early in the season, but down the stretch maybe, and that could be the difference. Like I said, I have them tying in record, so the Seahawks get the edge. But I did do those record predictions just before the Clowney trade, so maybe that bumps them up another win, possibly. So maybe it's a little easier for the Seahawks. But taking a look at their kind of a recap and what to expect for the next video. Division winners: Eagles, Vikings, Saints, Seahawks, locks. Who am I strongly considering for the wild card spots? Cowboys, Falcons, Bears, Rams, Packers. A lot of good teams there. I have to choose 2. I did the same video for AFC. The next video, I will choose my playoff teams. I will choose round-by-round playoff predictions and the Super Bowl predictions. So a lot to get to here. Plenty more to come before the NFL season. Got to do my pre-week 1 power rankings. And then in season, power rankings every single week, recaps every single week. We predict every single game every single week throughout the whole year. So subscribe, turn on notifications. Be much appreciated. It'll be worth it. Hopefully you can join us for that. Thanks everyone for the support. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.